So welcome back to more of Fight Night Champion mode, and here's just another heavy bag session where pretty much all that's happening is just the same thing you did earlier, except it's a little different since you are a heavyweight, so you just have to pretty much do the same thing. I mean, in these games it doesn't really matter like how well you do in them, which is always a good thing. Because for these games, for the most part, I do use the buttons, because I just can't really find a reliable way to make the combinations work without like hitting something the wrong way because of the way the control stick is set up. I don't know, maybe that's just the way I play this game, but I mean, that's just a problem I frequently have during this. Which is why I always did like things like defensive specialist and I guess like some other ones like stay on your feet. I think that was another one I'm good at. And then maybe like open sparring on occasion.
Well, this could be a major hurdle to overcome for Andre Bishop. Look at this replay. I believe this is where he hurts that right hand.
All right, kid, how you doing?
Right hands, bro.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah.
What do you want to do?
Use my left.
It's all about heart, kid. It's all about heart. And a good stiff left jab.
So now we've got to win this one with a broken right hand, and that means only using the left. And so now we gotta do something crazy. We gotta box. And the way I'm gonna handle this is that usually I'm just staying on the outside and waiting for him to just punch himself out. I occasionally go inside to go to the body, but that's about it. Outside of that, I wait for him to go inside and close the distance, and then I'll just hit him with counters. And then I also jab him to death on the outside too. But really that's how this fight's gonna go. The good news is Meldrick Johnson is really slow, so you do have a huge speed advantage over him, and he is pretty easy to pick apart from the outside. The only real issue I have with this guy is I can never knock this guy out. If somebody can, please let me know. I mean, you could probably just mash X to win, or A if you're playing on the Xbox 360 version, but I don't know, I always just jabbed my way to a decision. And then with the occasional hook for a counter. And since I do have a broken right hand, that means if you throw the right hand and hit him, then you take damage on the health meter and it triggers a stun state. So you don't want to be using that right hand all that much, because if you use it too much, then your health meter drops pretty drastically. And then you'll end up getting much more easily knocked down or knocked out. So that's one reason why I'm using the buttons for this particular fight as opposed to the control stick, or the right stick, because I always had trouble like inadvertently throwing combinations when I only wanted to throw one punch, and that's the only real problem I have with this fight. It is actually a pretty easy fight when you are patient enough and when you can just stay on the outside and then use the jab. But then I get that a lot of people don't use the jab, so that's probably why they introduced this, you know, just to keep you from rushing in and then just throwing combinations all the time. And really the way I edited this was it is pretty one-sided the way I edited this, because I'm just showing like all the big shots thrown in this fight, and then a few are on his side, but most of them are on my side. And I mean, I just didn't want to bore you with like 20 minutes of me just jabbing and occasionally countering. Although something interesting actually happens here. I did stun him, but outside of that I failed to knock him down. But fortunately, with keeping him on the ropes, I was able to hit him in the body a lot early on, and that is one way to get through him pretty easily, is just gas him out, because he's also not that well conditioned, as you can probably tell. But there is some info here.
Keep your hands up.
An interesting footnote to what we're seeing here tonight with Andre Bishop. We showed you the replay earlier where it appeared that he hurt his right hand in the first round. The word we're getting is that those in the know say he actually had injured that hand during his prison stay.
So that incident in prison with those skinheads ended up rearing its ugly head again when one of them stepped on his hand. And he ends up re-injuring that hand, which is unfortunate, but that's just the way it goes in this game. But either way, getting back to what I was saying, this is where you want to use your speed, and this is where you just want to use good defense, because the good news about this guy is offensively he's not really all that tough. I mean, he is a total tank to deal with. But outside of that, he is pretty easy to hit and pretty easy to dodge. So let's see, I do end up getting a knockdown pretty soon. And in fact, it's right here. And once again, there's some more awesome music that plays. So I'll just let you listen to that when the time comes. And it's actually gonna happen right after he gets up here, which should be pretty soon.
I give him a lot of credit for even getting up from that knockdown, but he still has to impress and move forward here.
Yeah, I applaud him. I give him credit, but I also recognize that he's in good shape. That's one of the reasons he got up.
Good job with another left hand. Andre Bishop showing his superiority in that last round.
And getting back to what I was saying before, there were plenty of good fighters who have been able to win while fighting on one hand, and the main reason for that is they just control their opponent, and that's really what this fight is more or less about. I mean, there's a few ways you can just knock him out if you just use a lot of hooks, but honestly, I just prefer controlling my opponents as opposed to getting quick knockouts. And I am more of a counter puncher for those of you who have noticed. But either way, with the rest of this fight, it's pretty easy to gas out Johnson, as I've said before, as I've been systematically wearing him down. That's really the easy way to deal with this. I mean, honestly, this fight's really not that hard. It's just annoying because you occasionally forget not to throw the right hand, and then you just end up getting in trouble at certain times. But really, I mean, this is actually a pretty easy fight as long as you're patient. But with the Alvarez and Mayweather fight coming up soon, I think I might as well give my thoughts on that, because that is going to be the next quote-unquote super fight. But my overall thoughts on it are, I think Mayweather is going to be in much better shape for this one than he was for the Cotto fight at 154. Because he was a lot slower in that fight than he should have been and got hit way too much, or way more than he should have. And he fought Cotto's fight way too much. But I think Mayweather, as I said before, is going to be in better shape. He's going to be ready for Alvarez's body attack, which is basically the only way Alvarez can win, is if he establishes his body attack early and then just slowly wears Mayweather down, which I don't think is going to happen, because I think Mayweather is going to run circles around him and then ultimately win a very easy decision. Let's see, getting back to the fight, here's the last round, and it is more or less more of the same, and really all I'm doing is just trying to stay on the outside and make sure I don't get hit by anything drastic. This one is pretty easy to win by decision. The only thing is that the first round is more towards his way. But outside of that, like if you check the stats, you can actually see that he lands more punches in the first round than you did. But I mean, this is just a 7-round fight, so it's not really that tough.
Good block by Johnson. Bishop's timing with his head.
And this is just more or less more of the same, and this is just me cornering him and then getting some good counters in, which is always a good thing. I mean, outside of that, there really isn't much else that goes on. So I think This was also one that was pretty tough for me to edit, as I said before. But I think it turned out pretty well. So let's see, here's just the last 30 seconds or so. And yeah, I purposely left in the last 10 seconds of her each round for a reason.
Well, you should lose your judge's license if you have it any other way but the obvious here, Teddy.
Yeah, if they do that, I want to put those guys on a poster, a wanted poster, that you don't want them.
Here's our ring announcer.
Isaac, what do you think of Andre Bishop as a challenger?
I think you're an idiot for asking me that question. You get paid to do this? It's your first show? Challenger. I think it'll be a challenge not to kill Andre Bishop. Little Andre can't even throw a punch without breaking his hand.
Those were Isaac Frost's words just a few short months ago after Andre Bishop apparently hurt his hand in a fight right here on ESPN. After only taking a short break to let the hand mend, Andre Bishop back in action tonight against heavyweight contender Reggie Stewart. Many are interested to see if the injury will have lingering effects on Bishop, in what should be a very entertaining heavyweight matchup. Let's go back ringside to Joe and Teddy.
Boardwalk Hall here in Atlantic City, the next stop for the heavyweight career of one Andre Bishop.
How's it feel?
Feels good. Feels real good.
Good. Because you gotta knock this guy out with him. It's time to show the world that Andre Bishop is as good as Neil.
Bishop's really keyed in for this one. You can see it as he makes his walk to the ring.
So after that win over Meldrick Johnson, we're here facing off against Reggie Stewart. And basically the only goal here is to knock Stewart out with a right hand. And this is one guy I'm not that good at because he is very fast and very lengthy. And I'm just not that good an inside fighter. And yeah, really, as long as you knock him down with a right hand, he won't get back up. And that's really Stewart's only downfall. He is pretty fast. He is lengthy, as I said before, but outside of that, he doesn't have that good a chin or that good at taking punches. But that's really about it. And this is one guy I can never tell when I'm gonna knock him out, because sometimes it's not until like the 5th round or so, and then sometimes it's like in the 1st round. And I don't know. Well, that's just the way this game is, I guess. Also, they couldn't take any shortcuts, unfortunately, with Bishop's prison stay. I mean, so they have to take as many shortcuts as they can to fast track into a title shot. Also, that's one of the things that makes Frost such a great villain, is the guy is a total asshole, but he is really strong and he knows it. Like, he knows he's stronger than anybody, so he can just say whatever he wants. And that's one of the things that makes him such a great villain. I mean, there's more later on, but I mean, this is a pretty entertaining story, as I said before.
The trainer of Andre Bishop was talking about
Let's see, here's just me trying to find my range and failing, which is one reason why I have so much trouble against this guy. But then things like that happen. Like, I have knocked him out on one of those counters before, and that's one of the reasons why I'm using the right straight to counter so much, is because I'm trying to knock him out with it. But instead, I knock him out with a left hook and right hook to the body combination. And like I said before, as long as I knock him down with a right hand, he's not going to get back up. Well, with all that said, I will see you in part 7 next week.
With the injured right hand everybody was questioning, he does it here tonight against Reggie Stewart.
Isaac, which Bishop brother hits harder?
Which Bishop brother hits harder? That's your question? I get these people. Well, neither one of them can punch like me. I can guarantee you that. But between the two of them, well, I'd say little Andre hits harder. I mean, the jailbird's washed up now. I mean, he was a genuine contender. But the big baby, well, the big baby has always been a pretender.